everybody, welcome to No DQ&A video, episode 107. Quite a busy week in WWE land. We had Elimination Chamber on Sunday, we had Raw on Monday night, and then we had the Super SmackDown on Tuesday. So a lot of stuff in wrestling to talk about, and I've been really busy the last few days, but I'm getting back into the swing of things here with No DQ&A video, so let's get right down to it. Say it ain't so, Aaron. WWE is actually going to have a Hell in a Cell match in a pay-per-view that is not called Hell in a Cell. Next thing you know, we'll be having these gimmick matches randomly thrown in throughout the year. It's chaos, I tell you. Chaos. Yeah, I agree with you. What is going on here in WWE? They are actually having a stipulation match on a non-stipulation pay-per-view. Now, anybody with a brain can tell you that this is a great idea, and judging by the reaction on Raw when Triple H said Hell in a Cell and the fact that the crowd popped, it should tell something to WWE that maybe you need to go back to the old way, and perhaps these themed pay-per-views aren't working. And I'm just glad they're doing it, and it makes sense for WrestleMania. And that's the thing, when you do the themed pay-per-views, you throw in a match, a stipulation match, and there's no meaning behind it. And when it doesn't mean anything, people aren't interested in it, and it's not going to do any business. But here with Hell in a Cell, this might actually boost the buy rate for WrestleMania a little bit. I don't know if it's going to make a huge difference, but it definitely brought up a lot of interest in the match, and got people a lot more interested in it than they were just a few weeks ago. I mean, people were talking about how they didn't want to see Triple H versus Undertaker again, but now it brought some new life to the whole feud and the whole storyline. So there you go. Hey Aaron, Santino is great as a comedy character. I bet he'll be hosting Saturday Night Live next year when WrestleMania is in New York, New Jersey. But I can't help but think that this is preventing him from reaching that next level. Actually, the same goes for Eric Young and TNA. Yeah, the thing with Santino is that for years he has been positioned as this lower card comedy act that you're not supposed to take seriously. So when you throw him into the Elimination Chamber match all of a sudden with no build-up and nothing done to his character for him to be in that match, it just it takes away from the whole thing. I mean, we've talked about David Arquette in the past. David Arquette, when he won the WCW title, it got a huge pop on TV, but it didn't translate to ratings. It bombed in terms of business for WCW. So by putting Santino in there, if you're not building him as a top guy, it just cheapens the whole thing. It makes the title look bad, and people are talking about maybe Santino should have gotten a brief run with the title. That would have been a terrible decision, in my opinion. I think it would have been very bad for business and would have already devalued the title more than it already has been devalued over the years. So, yeah, perhaps they could take Santino in a different direction, but he's been playing that character for so long now, I'm not sure that a big push would really work with him, but you never know. Perhaps if they spent a year or two building him up, maybe they could take him to another level. I don't know. With the crap, if the current stars don't like The Rock taking their WrestleMania payday, maybe they should stop being stale. Bigger stars, am I right? Well, you're talking about the backstage heat on The Rock. Apparently there are some people in WWE that aren't happy about The Rock coming in for WrestleMania and taking the spotlight away from some of the younger guys. And the thing is, when The Rock's at WrestleMania, WrestleMania does huge business, and the more business it does, the more money everybody on the roster is going to make. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for the wrestlers to be complaining, because at the end of the day, it's a business and everyone's trying to make money. So you got to do what's best for business. And The Rock, he's a special occasion. He's only coming in for WrestleMania, perhaps a SummerSlam or a pay-per-view every now and then. He's not going to be around constantly, and I think the wrestlers should be happy that he's there and that he's making a big difference. Now, of course, John Cena is going to play up on it, and I think that's a great storyline. I think that the promo John Cena did on Raw was fantastic. Really good promo by Cena, and it's definitely it's creating a lot of tension between the two, and making the fans pick sides. And are you going to cheer for The Rock? Are you going to cheer for Cena? And I think it's great. I think WWE's doing a great job, and sometimes the best storylines and the best promos are based on real life situations. So they might as well just go all the way with it and talk about how Cena's representing all the guys in the back, and it is somewhat of a worked shoot. So I think it's great television. I think WWE should keep going in that direction. Every time someone is tossed out of the ring by Big Show, I get nervous, especially when he does his trademark choke shove thing. I'm not calling Big Show sloppy, but with the injury to Wade Barrett, do you think WWE will limit Big Show in that regard? Here's the thing. Accidents happen. It can happen to anybody at any time. Owen Hart was considered one of the greatest workers of his day. And, he botched that pile driver with Steve Austin. So, I mean, anybody can make a mistake at any time. I don't think there's going to be any ill will towards Big Show. I mean, he's been there for so many years and never really caused any major injuries or anything like that. So, I think people are just going to chalk it up to being an accident, and perhaps the match was booked poorly, like laid out backstage. It wasn't, the fact that Wade Barrett was out there and they kept throwing guys out of the ring onto Barrett, that was just mind-boggling. I don't know what the deal was there, but yeah, I just think that it was simply an accident, and I don't think anything's going to happen to Big Show. I just don't see that happening. What should the main event match be at WrestleMania 28? This is a really good question, and I'm sure it's going to be something that people will be debating about for weeks. I think I'm going to put a poll up on NoDQ asking people what they think. But in my personal opinion, I think you should probably go with the match that you're hyping up, and the match that's got the most mainstream publicity, and that's The Rock versus John Cena. Now, there's a chance that Triple H and Undertaker could steal the show, and that Hell in the Cell match could be the match that people talk about for months and years to come. But it's really hard to say, because I think both matches are going to have a lot of heat, and they're both going to be classic WWE matches. So I'm not really sure which one you should go with, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be The Rock versus Cena, just because it is the match that's being advertised as the main event, and you're going to have a lot of people that aren't really that much of wrestling fans tuning in, and they're going to be tuning in to see Rock versus John Cena. I mean, it's like Hogan versus Andre. That was the match that sold WrestleMania, and really that's the main event. But wouldn't surprise me if Undertaker and Triple H ends up being a much better match than Rock versus John Cena, but we'll see. Hey Aaron, which is the better way to groom a mid-carder to the main event? Winning the King of the Ring or Money in the Bank? Beating 3 guys one-on-one seems better than a ladder match with 5 or 7 other guys. Your thoughts? I agree with you. I think the King of the Ring was a great way to develop a new star, and I never really understood why WWE got rid of that pay-per-view. I thought King of the Ring was it was unique because it happened once a year, and it was a tournament, and it was your chance to build a new star, because you have a guy who has to win 3 or 4 matches in one night. So that, when he wins all those matches, it makes him look like a big deal. And I liked the fact that you could have King of the Ring kind of like SummerSlam's SummerSlam's Royal Rumble, where the winner of the King of the Ring could go on to challenge the champion at SummerSlam. I thought that was a good format there, and yeah, I don't know why WWE dropped it. I think the King of the Ring where Lesnar won did somewhat of a disappointing pay-per-view buy rate, and at the time their buy rates were really good, so I think they freaked out and just decided to get rid of it. I think it was a bad decision. I think they should bring it back on pay-per-view, but that remains to be seen. With 4 matches now on the WrestleMania card, what order do you think these matches should be booked? Normally, I am against the WWE or World Heavyweight Championship opener, but I don't think Bryan and Sheamus have a chance of beating the other 3 matches, so this should be the opener. Would not surprise me at all if Sheamus and Daniel Bryan opens WrestleMania, because as we saw last year, they opened with a world title match, and it's kind of sad that the world title and the WWE matches are secondary at WrestleMania, but that's just the way it is, and yeah, I mean, the World Heavyweight title match, it'll be a good match, but it's not going to be positioned as one of the feature matches, and that's just the way it is. But I'm sure Bryan and Sheamus will go out there and have a very good match, and that's their job. Their job is to go out there and kick the pay-per-view off on a high note. So there's still going to be a lot of pressure on those 2 guys to deliver, and I think they will. All right, that'll do it for today's edition of No DQ&A Video. Thanks for watching as always. Please spread the word about this video. Maybe make a YouTube video, let people know about this account. Perhaps post something on Facebook or Twitter. Just spread the word. I really do appreciate all the support from you guys. And stay tuned. We'll see you next time.